Okay, so I have just pulled this pony out of his stallion paddock. This is a Section A Welsh Pony Stallion. And he's out here for a hoof trim. But first, he's extremely muddy, and we're going to brush him off. So, the first thing we do is, oh, Mr. Zip, we are going to curry this pony off because he is a mess. So we're going to clean him up and we're going to curry all the mud off him because he just likes to roll in the mud. So we want to get it off his legs and off his feather, and it's just caked on him because he loves to roll in the mud. And why is he out here? He's out here because we had some dirt work done on the farm, and the dirt work guy made it a point to go around and bulldoze every single grooming area hoof trim station I had set up around the farm. So I'm an autistic horse trainer, and so I do the best with what I have. I don't have any hoof trim station anymore at the moment that's set up. So we did the best we could, and we found a fairly flat area over here by a stall in order to tie him up and to trim his hoofs. And I started on the off side because I don't always start on the left side, especially with ponies that can be handled and ridden by kids. I start anywhere. So when we're going to curry a pony, okay, when we're going to curry a pony, we go in a circular motion like this and get all the loose dirt off. And we get the dirt off down the legs. He's got dirt everywhere. And it's just caked on. So we curry all the dirt off and the loose hair. And we're going to clean this pony up. Because this pony is a mess. It's very typical pony behavior to roll in mud and get to be a mess. So, and this is a stallion. Now, when we brush in the direction of the grain of his hair. And I missed some dirt there, so we're going to get it off. But now we want to brush all this loose hair and dirt off of him and clean him up. Because before I trim his hoofs, I'm going to clean him up. So we brush both sides. When we do his head, we're gentle. And we brush in the direction of his hair, and we don't get any in his eyes. So now we need to clean his hoofs. So, and we have fly spray out here. We have fly spray, but there's no flies, so it doesn't look like we need it. Come on. So we're going to clean his hoofs out. So we need to clean his hoofs out since we're going to be trimming his hoofs. Zippy. Now, Zippy's a stallion. And there's mares all around right here. And he's very interested in those mares. But he's behaving. Oh, so we're gonna clean, come on, put that foot down. We're gonna clean all his hoofs off before we start trimming his hoofs. And then we're gonna clean the back hoofs. So we're gonna clean all these hooves before we trim his hoofs. And we have a storm front coming within the next couple hours, so I'm doing his hoofs before it gets here. Oh, Zippy. When we walk behind him, we can either walk way around him out of kicking range, or we can let him know we're here and walk as close to him as we can get, so if he does take a swing and kicks us, he cannot get us with the full force. Zippy, ho. Zippy. Ho. It's been muddy out, so there's a lot of mud in his hoofs right now. Zippy, don't lean on me. One Zip. And Zippy even actually anticipates what I'm going to do, and he picks his hoof up for me. So, the first thing we doing with Zippy is we are cleaning him up a little. And it makes it a little easier to trim his hoofs because I'm not having to deal with mud and dirt falling on me and mud and dirt in his hoofs. Hose it. Come on, put some weight on it. Oh. Oh, forgot to do this one. Oh. And so now we're going to brush his mane and tail. The thing is that neurotypical horse trainers, because they're neurotypicals, they have huge social networks and they have lots of friends. So they always have people to help hold a horse or a pony when they're working on them. But it's not like that for autistic trainers. We have very small social circles and like almost no friends. And so we have to learn to handle horses by ourselves without any helper. And so when I'm working on these ponies, I have to train them to allow me to handle them by myself without a helper, no matter what I'm doing with them. Now, Zippy has a very thick mane. It is definitely a case of pony mane. So, we're brushing out his mane. You got a little bit of mud in it because he rolled, so the mud doesn't want to come out. But we're cleaning him up, so we're doing his mane and his tail too. And his forelock. So This is Zippy. And for a stallion, Zippy is pretty well mannered. Now, sometimes he gets excited because there's mares over here. There's mares here about 6 feet away from him. Oh, Mr. Zip. So we also need to get his forelock. And then we're going to get his tail. So we start at the bottom of the tail because otherwise we pull out too many hairs. So say I wanted to take Zippy to a horse show, I would not want to be pulling hairs out of his tail, because if every time I brushed his tail, I pulled hairs out of his tail, he would have a very ratty, short looking tail. And we don't want that. So we start at the bottom. He's got mud in his tail because he rolled in the mud. And so we start at the bottom and we get the mud out of his tail because the mud made knots in his tail. And also, it should be pointed out that I've taken a year off for a breast cancer journey. So I'm still doing physical therapy for that. And at first, when I came back from the surgery, it was hard to even groom a horse or a pony. But it actually helps improve my strength and my flexibility to be out here grooming horses and ponies. Zippy here has a pretty long tail. So we started at the bottom and we're going to the top and we're getting the mud out. Because he's even got mud up here at the top. Mud and hay. So we're going to finish this tail, and then we're going to do one more thing. So we don't want to leave any tangles, knots, or mud, or hay in his tail, because it'll just make more knots. So we want to make sure we get all the tangles out. And Zippy here, Zippy has some kind of a curly hair gene. So he's got little waves and curls in his tail and in his mane and a whole lot of them in his forelock. Now, I do not ordinarily do this when I groom him, but because this is a hoof trimming day, I'm going to trim his bridle path. Now, he's a purebred Section A Welsh Pony, so we don't trim his feathers. And because he's not showing, and he's just out here, we also don't trim the inside of his ears or his whiskers or anything like that. And our barn doesn't have any electricity. So instead, I can't use a clipper here. So instead, I'm going to use the good old-fashioned scissors and trim his bridle path here. So I want to make sure that I'm getting it even. And he's pretty good about it. He's a very well-mannered Section A Welsh Pony. He's very suitable for breeding children's ponies, like a lot of Welsh ponies are. Hold on, Zippy. Okay, so we have winter hair. And that makes it a little more difficult because we have to take some winter hair curls off when we do the bridle path. And why do we do the bridle path? We do the bridle path because it just makes it a lot easier to halter and bridle the pony. We're not getting our fingers and the halter tangled up in the pony's mane here. So we're just going to trim the pony's bridle path. Make it nice and easy to be able to put a halter on without any problems. Make sure we get it nice and even. Oh, and I didn't get it even there, but I'm making it even now. Because these aren't the best scissors in the world. They're getting dull because I've used them a number of times and I need a new pair of scissors. But again, we make do with what we have when we are an autistic adult. And this is a very patient pony. He's very patient. He is a good pony. I trained him from 6 months old to now. So, and he's cleaned up. So, that's what you do to groom him.